to play a game. And today's game will be hella loose between the 79th Infantry Division and RMC. These two Division 7 rivals are set to face on the bloody fields of Sainte-Marie-du-Mont with the midpoint of the Dugout. Now for today's game, both teams will fight. Both teams will bleed, but one team will emerge victorious on the battlefield today. So before we get into our major start here of our stream, let's go ahead and talk about the rules that we will be having today. So for today's match, we will have 3 main rules. First will be one-man arty, just like any other match in TPL. We will have one man and one man only on each arty gun, and that man cannot move, or he will have to face the consequences of his actions. Nobody can help him load. We will also have indestructible nodes, and the Panther is still banned. However, that rule may change in the future, as this new armor update has changed a few things. But for now, it is still banned, and you cannot use it. As we look into the standings of where these two teams are, we can see both teams trying to fight for the top position here in their respective division. This is week 4 at the top, but this is week 5. Our leaderboards did not want to be updated. Or Night Falcon is lazy. But it really is with the people that make the overlays. So to them, we are on week 4, but we really are week 5. As we look at RMC, who's coming into this matchup 2-1, facing 79th Infantry, who is 1-2. Both teams looking to try to fight their way into that top spot here against RDG, who has been dominant against all 4 teams that they have faced up to this point. But this TPL season is long from over, and battles for playoff positions are still coming in hot. So, for now, let's pop in real fast and look at our head-to-head between these two teams. So the advantage here initially going to the RMC, whose record is coming in at 2-1. Against 79th, their record is 1-2. Also have an armor, infantry KPM of 9.50 on average for the 79th, 8.74 for RMC. Now, the 79th Infantry armor does have the slight advantage of 1.24 KPM over 1.1. Artillery giving the advantage to RMC at 1.17, but the machine gun's the great equalizer in this map today. It's going to be our wild card, so armor and machine guns, we will want to see how those all play out here as we are waiting for everybody to still jump into the server after our initial server crashes here. But with that, we are excited to welcome you here today, and we wish you luck as you fight in this week 5 matchup of TPL. Now we will turn it back over to Night Falcon, and remember, play by the rules or suffer the consequences.
All right, everybody, welcome. Just thought I'd have a little bit of fun. Even though Halloween is a day past, we can still have a little bit of fun. We'll call this our Halloween streams today on the Night Falcon cast here. Your host Night Falcon, I'm very excited to be here with you today as we look at this Division 7 matchup between the 79th Infantry Division and RMC. Both these teams looking in the top sectors here of their division here on Division 7. And so both looking to try to claim that coveted number 1, number 2 spot here when we get into our TPL standings here as we move towards the playoffs. Got a lot of fun things ahead of us here, but like anything else, we are waiting just for everybody to jump in here. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick run through of what this is going to give us today on the point of the dugout and with the kind of things that we can look to see. So with that, we're going to reset our score here. We did originally start the match, but due to a server issue, we have crashed out. And so we are currently waiting to get everybody back into the match and get this up and going here again as we look forward to this TPL Division 7 matchup. Now, while we are waiting, let's go ahead and let's pop into our overhead Falcon camera here. and get a look at the layout of the land. So dugout is the point that we're going to be focusing on here today, which is right over there on that western side. Now, for the Allies, this point can be a little bit difficult to get into. They've got really some big open fields right up here in this area that really is going to be causing problems. They do get the protection of a hedge line that's right here, but they are left relatively exposed as they cannot really cross this field into dugout without getting just erased off the top of the map here by the Axis forces. So they're really forced to come down two ways, through this western side and through this eastern side here. Now, we had Bucourt Battery as our point here for the 79th on the 2nd defensive side, but we'll have to see what the next flip does for us, as we don't know if that or cattle sheds will be the point that we'll be working with. That's what's still difficult about these maps at this moment, with them just being so volatile that we are just experiencing crashes back and forth. So hopefully the developers of the game get everything taken care of and get that all mapped out pretty quickly for us, because we all love this game and it stinks to see it in such a terrible situation at the moment as these maps just keep crashing. These games just crash. But we're going to keep fingers crossed and hope that we can keep everything moving forward good as we move into the next portion here. So, back into the map here. So, Gardens, right here, is going to be a pivotal area because it's really going to launch as a jumping off point into Bucourt Battery right here for the Axis forces if they were to get that initial cap, or for them to push up over into cattle sheds right here. So, with that, it'll be very interesting to see if the 79th is able to get more and more bodies in to this point to be able to try to get that initial cap. RMC did originally take it, and we saw a big major push out here to this western side, and eventually they were able to get those guys up into here and just kind of take that point. So one of the fun things about a map flip is that we do get to see it over again and see if any adjustments are made, but with that, it really is all kind of still left up. Maybe somebody gets a snipe, something happens, but it will be very interesting to see how the rest of this goes here as we wait for the more and more bodies to get back into the game here. So just about 10 or so minutes. For all those joining us on that backside, appreciate you for sticking around with us as we've been dealing with the wonderful hell of loose glitches here. But we have Axis forces here for RMC coming in from the western side. Neil Warnock, Pepper popping out already, trying to help out with some supplies that have already probably dropped here for the Axis side. Got more and more bodies coming back in here for 79th. As Wonton's lining up on top of that truck here. Jackoff pushing down into the Gardens area, so pivotal in order to try to gain possession over to the dugout sector. Wonton and his crew storming on in. So far, no shots, no snipes coming out here for either side. But arty guns sounding off here for the Allied side on the backside. Rocket misses that transport truck coming in. Wonton's jumping off. Another rocket misses. As a good rocket comes in, but is denied by the hay bale. Lots of RMC guys coming in off of the God Hill side. Wonton, though, laying into him. Able to take out one, but is taken out here by Banana Jesus. Flare going up by Fizney. And initial cap pressure going to the 79th. RMC still holding off strong on this western edge as they look to push towards these farmhouses here, down this line here, down this farm lane. We can see that Matty Petito all the way over here, up on top of his truck, getting a good look over these hedges down into the area of dugout as 79th continues to push their way into the mid-cap here. Now this time around, 79th doing very well at blooming out from the dugout area, trying to keep people from coming up that lane here from the 5 points intersection down into dugout as we are nearing halfway capped here for the Allied side. Now, because we're playing on a non-TPL server today, our clockwork is managed by our interns in the back, and it seems like they are currently not doing their job. AKA, Falcon just needs somebody to pin the blame on here. But let's go ahead. We're going to get our time up here as we pass 124. As Allen running into the middle there. The only man in the hard cap here. And 124 passes, and our clock is going. So with that, we are moving. Goofy, though, lone man here in the hard cap sector, trying to do what he can to hold off any pushes from additional tanks and items that come down that road. But Sergeant Better James, moving on up. Does Goofy hear him, though? Goofy hiding out in the bush. Most likely here's Better James. He'll definitely have the advantage, but he is looking the other way, unfortunately. Sergeant Better James able to sneak around here as we see body parts coming in from the backside from artillery shells landing in. Looks like some Allied artillery trying to bomb the backside of that point as Goofy's still trying to hold down the the northern side of that hedge leading into Dugout. Blood Reaper and Better James going at it here. But Better James gets a shot on Blood Reaper, taking him out. Goofy taking out Weary. Goofy still able to stay in his hedge here. Able to have a couple guys run past him, but able to continue pushing in. And just holding his ground here. Making sure that more RMC guys cannot get into the fight here. However, they are kind of sneaking behind him. So maybe we just sit here for just a second so maybe some of his guys can give him a hard time later as they're going to doing a video review. But for Goofy's sake, we're going to go ahead and pan on back over here as Sergeant Better James still hiding in his bush as well. Lots of bushes camping going on here as people just try to hold their pressure here on hard cap as we see cap pressure coming back in favor of 79th. More body parts flying away, so Allied already going in very big. Blood Reaper taken out again by Better James. Better definitely getting the better of Blood Reaper there, and he takes out Welsh. So Better James still hiding in his little bush here, able to get more and more of those 79th players that continue to flood into the point, and unfortunately are not able to see him. Let's go ahead and pan out a little bit, see what we're looking at macro size. So this time, 79th doing very well here on the western side here, as they have now been able to push down into these hedges here and have stopped much of that push from where RMC was able to get people in earlier. We can see the medium tank here, medium Sherman, and the Panzer IV are going at it here. They don't know, they probably know that both of them are there, so neither one of them wanting to peek out first in order to be the sacrificial lamb here as a shell goes in here. This Panzer IV initial hit goes off of the Sherman here as the Sherman got hit. I'm not sure where the Sherman got hit from. Looks like we're getting shot at from the top of the hill on Hugo's farm. Is he going to be able to get away before another strike? No, he does not. So we do have a Panzer IV, it looks like, that was able to get up here on top of Hugo's farm and get some rocket shots down into him. And so with that, the medium Sherman here for the Allied side 79th is going to be gone as that arty shell lands right on top of that, right behind that Panzer IV, but not able to do any damage here. Huge ass, able to get rockets off, but missing his shot, unfortunately. Definitely not an easy thing to be staring at a Panzer IV and holding that pressure and making sure you hit your shots. It is definitely a hard task to do. But Huge Ass pushing back up through that hedge as we can see him as we try to get a little bit more of the fight over Dugout as well, as more and more pressure is coming in for RMC. Both teams trying to do what they can to hold a wide front, but would expect to start seeing some bodies collapse down in as somebody is going to eventually make the push into this point and take it. So Welsh, using the cover of the exploded Axis truck, looking to get some fires here on Black Dagger, but Poppy or Black Dagger, not quite sure, able to get him out. And so he's been taken out and eliminated from the competition there. So right now, RMC doing well to hold out over the 5-point sector. Another key area that would be vital for them to be able to take Dugout and hold Dugout if they are able to cap it. Once we're done with this, we'll go ahead and go back into the Falcon Cam, the overhead Falcon Cam, and talk a little bit about map logistics and everything. But for now, we want to keep our to keep our focus here on the actual point itself with all the action that's going here. We've got a new medium tank coming up here with Chuckster and Lubs going off to battle here. Doesn't see that Panzer IV, though, as we look through that side there. Panzer IV able to get one side, wrecks the second shot. So Sherman got a little lucky there, but they do not know where this Panzer IV is, and they are forced to back up out. Oh, Panzer IV, unfortunately, is not going to like their odds here, as they have now ricocheted or non-penned 2 shots on the front angle of that Sherman that is still lucky to be alive after those additional shots and hits are taken up. Still, medium has not been able to get a hit on that Panzer IV, but Wonton able to get a shot at a satchel over onto him. Yeah, satchel is on the Panzer IV, so this could be a big turn of events, though, as this Panzer IV is satcheled here. More and more progress coming in here for RMC as Tenshan looks to get up for that satchel that's on the Panzer IV, but unfortunately is not going to be able to help him, as Chili and his crew are not going to be able to get that satchel off in time. And we'll be going up in smoke here. Boom, there we go. So medium Panzer IV taken out here for the Axis side, leaving there 1 Panzer IV on the far side, but nearing 90% of the way capped here. Looking to be RMC for the cap here on Dugout. Gonna get ready to flip this up here to do a 2-3 as cap goes in favor of RMC here. So good opening battle lasting for the better part of 10 minutes here, as 79th looks to get their foothold back in. Let's take a look and see how many OPs have been able to go back up. So they're respawning very well. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 OPs that have been able to go up in red. Well, looks like we have an initial airhead coming in here for Commander RJ, or AJ Gray. Sorry, I apologize, AJ Gray. So let's take a look. No doubt this is going to be a bombing run airhead combo. Nope, not a bombing run airhead combo, as we currently do not have enough munitions for the bombing run to accompany that airhead. So it'd be interesting to see if they're able to go ahead and get this airhead taken out here as it comes in here for the 79th. Overall garrison network for the 79th, though, is looking very strong, as they have garrisons pinned out into most of the major locations. Look to have them try to get down here into the 5 points intersection, and it'll be vital for them to continue holding on this western side here by these farmhouses. If they can get bodies into there, that's when they're going to start getting those cap pressures back up into the dugout sector. But with that, we are watching this as Welshie's coming down, making sure this airhead lands appropriately. Lieutenant LNG, though, sees the airhead and is going to do what they can to get it eliminated, but this may have landed right in the area of the Panzer IV. Panzer IV, though, does not see it, so we do have the airhead here. It will go live in about 25 seconds. Retract that previous statement, strike that from the record, as that airhead was taken out by a great rocket from the backside by Corporal Hank, the only AT man in the area that could have sent that rocket. So right now, looking for 79th to still continue to hold their line here. It's good on them to be able to get those OPs up, but Welshie and Warnock battling out Warnock's STG-44 advantage, though, able to get that final little bit to go ahead and take him out. But unfortunately, may have been eliminated either from a grenade or from his friendly Panzer IV. But with that, we will bid that situation adieu and go back into our overhead view here. So if we go up to our wide-angled view here, we can see 79th guys flooding down into the area of 5 points. So this will be a big sector right here in the middle of our screen for them to be able to hold to try to get pushes back up into the area of the dugout. We may have just had a little issue here with for some reason our thing died. And we might need to restart our OBS streams. Goodness sakes. When it rains, it pours here, guys. What doesn't it? Because our system is currently not streaming anything to YouTube. So with that, we're going to go ahead and stop streaming here for a second and get it restarted here. As we are going to get our video back up and going here very shortly. There we go. Video is back up. Today's just one of those days, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Everything's still matched up good, though. So nothing's going to be missed. Let's go ahead. We're going to share this here into our chats. All right. We appreciate everybody's patience there. Just going to put this out here into the universe here. All right, so 79th still looking to try to get bodies up into that 5-point intersection. So that is a great way for them to go ahead and get bodies back up into the point of dugout. We got one Axis tank that's slowly making its way into the back here, a Puma. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that here in just a moment to see what in the world is going on there as we continue to watch these points flicker. 79th still not giving up that middle road. So very good on them to be able to go ahead and do that. All right. It is just a day of glitches and issues going on from both sides. So looks like I am not the only streamer that's had their issues today, but hopefully that is the last of it that we will be having to deal with. As we see a big tank explosion here, that Puma that we were talking about earlier was able to go ahead and get behind the Allied lines and take out this medium Allied Sherman. So that will be a big loss here for the 79th. We do see the initial 76 up there in the top left. So that will be huge, as now this opens up the door here for RMC to go ahead and push up this main road. Welsh and Kit Carson not knowing what little issue they have in front of them right now, as a lot of cherries are storming their way. But Kit Carson moving on up into the road here. Welsh trying to follow his back. Corporal Hake, though, who we saw earlier get that airhead strike, is going to be pushing down the road here. Welsh able to take out Hank. So very good job on Welsh's side to go ahead and get that eliminated. Now we do hear tanks coming in we hear shots from Protein Bar. Protein Bar trying to be a hero here for his squad. Was able to get a rocket in it, but it looks like he was not able to get enough rockets into the side of that Puma, unfortunately, to eliminate him. But he is heavily damaged here. So we will need to be getting spawns off of any OP in the area to try to get more rockets on top of this, as Super Truck looks to push on up and see what he can do to get rid of that tank. It is now moving up in the area of Hockey Stick. All right. Poppy taken out by Big L. Good shot by Big L to be able to get that strike here. Now, 79th has been able to regain control over this middle road. So even though they lost that medium Sherman here, they were able to get infantry back into the area. And that will be huge for them, because they won't they won't have to lose that ground. So we'll keep an eye on those battles as those guys continue to push up here. Leatherneck, though, trying to hold off on the farm side here as Guillotine is taken out by Tubbs. Another key area to try to get into the dugout area. 79th going to be looking to try to hold this western side. Now, one thing about these matches is it's very difficult to know exactly how many people you're up against, especially in these competitive games, as the teams that play in these competitive games often just do so at such a wide angle that you keep getting shot from everyone, and you think there's got to be like 10 guys in the area, but when you pop up here into the admin cams and you're looking at things, you see that there's usually only about 4 or 5 people that are fighting you right in your area. And so if your squad can really overpower the squad that's in front of you, it can allow for a lot of action and a lot of ground to be made up as teams look to try to clear out areas. So it is pivotal that everybody hits their shots, and that's why in most of these teams, most of these guys can hit their shots. And not your standard pub match here, though. We do have the initial Tiger tank here for the Axis side, crewed by Chili, who we had seen earlier get satcheled out by that wonderful satchel play here from 79th. But now 79th holding pretty much all of 5 points as they're getting more and more bodies flooded up into that. Kit Carson and Wonton and Welsh's squads all still holding down in that front line. And a big push coming on the backside. So right now, a lot of good plays here for the 79th as they look to try to get more and more people towards Dugout. Let's go ahead and pop this up here, and we'll get some of these axes, these rows and videos here for us here so you can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about, because sometimes it's a little hard to see it all. So right up here in this backside, right here that we're looking at, 79th is going to be looking to try to get here. If they can continue to flood out and clear this hedgerow right here of those RMC guys, that's going to be huge, because then RMC will be forced to come across that side and utilize those tanks to their advantage to try to get people back up into farmland here. However, with 79th now claiming stake over that, they need to dig in and really hold that area. Hardcap still very littered with a lot of RMC guys, so a bombing run by the 79th could do a lot of damage there, and more people are coming into the area of 5 points. But this is probably our most contested area. As you can see, we kind of have a good mix between 79th and RMC guys there. So we'll be keeping an eye on both of those points as we continue to fight towards Dugout here. So very good fight so far by the matches now by both teams. So because of the glitch that we had here, I will be uploading this stream in its entirety later. But I was able to record the first half hour or so with all the delays that we had. And so I'll be splicing that together with this once it's done and re-uploading it into YouTube in its entirety. So both teams will be able to look at that, especially my friends over here at the 79th that have been so patient as I've looked to try to get to one of their matches to cast here. But we appreciate their eagerness and excitement to have me come over and do it, as I'm still a new streamer here on the backside of the Hell Let Loose streaming community. Definitely a lot of people out there that are more experienced than myself, but I like to try to do what I can to provide a little additional analytics that you might not get from other people. A little bit more of the strategy play and how you can look at each map and the midpoints that you look to fight. So with that, we're going to zoom back out here. Tiger tank here moving on. And let's see. Allies, is that the 76 or have they rolled out a 75 here? We got a double stack heavy tank here with a 75 and a 76 here. So interesting play here from 79th here as they look to try to gain control over this western side. Now, the 75 in the most recent update did get a large, considerable buff. However, it's not going to be as geared towards taking out tanks as this 76 would be. But man, is it a deadly force when it comes to taking out and stopping infantry. So the combination between these two tanks, if they can work together appropriately, will be able to clear out this western side of the map and allow for their infantry to continue pushing up into this area. As we can see, that Tiger tank is back there, hidden behind that hedge. Goofy looking to try to get an angle on it, try to keep it pinged out so everybody on the map knows where this Tiger tank is at all times. But with Goofy pushing up through the area here, Luke for RMC is eliminated. Oh boy. See, you've got infantry being forced out here as Goofy is now able to get up to this hedgerow that we were talking about would be so beneficial for them. We see, looks like that would be an Axis or an allied bombing run coming right through the middle. So looking for 79th to get bodies, more and more bodies into the point here. I do not know if it got a Garrison, but we are going to keep our action here as this Tiger tank has now taken 2 shots here and is now heavily damaged, leaving the door wide open for these heavy tanks to try to come in and get the finishing blow. Now, he did back up just a little bit far. If a 79th tank can get a little bit farther down towards the end of those trees and the farmhouse, they should be able to get an angle here as we do start to see that 75, 76 moving on up here with Chuckster moving on up. All enemy infantry for RMC eliminated here from the hedgerow as Banana Jesus is just going to be able to try to get set up, but unfortunately he's going to get seen here and taken out by Chuckster and his crew. Matty Petito looking to try to get around here, give an angle here for his guys as Warnock coming up here with the STG class and the satchel pulled on up. Chuckster, though, knowing that Warnock's right there, able to go ahead and tell his guys to keep moving and him himself, but he is up. Warnock is now on top. Satchel is now on top of the 76 as Warnock's able to go ahead and dip away. It's going to be big if Lubbs is able to go ahead and see that because now we have probably about 20 seconds left on this satchel, and it does not look like they know that they are currently satcheled at the moment. So 176 is going to go away here on the western side, leaving us with the 75, but they were able to go ahead and get the kill on the Tiger tank. So giving the advantage here to the ally side, who's now going to be the only one with a Tiger or with a 75 here on the western side. But with that, all other Axis armor has been eliminated. But look at this. All right, we already have another. So the tank battle is happening over that map edge side on the west. Neither side wanting to give that up, as now we have a Tiger tank and a 75, and that 75 is definitely going to have a more difficult time taking out this Tiger tank than the previous 76 did. Not quite enough fuel here for Commander AJ Gray to go ahead and get that back in for that 76 crew, as I believe that 76 was the most recently spawned tank for them too. Cooldowns have been popped up from 5 minutes to 10 minutes for those heavy tanks. So losing one on a battle is going to definitely be giving headaches to people. So we might be seeing another 75 roll out before we see a 76 here for the Allied side. But we'll keep an eye on that situation as we now want to focus on the middle of hardcap here. 79th has been able to continue to push bodies up into the point and are now getting cap pressure onto Dugout, nearing about a 25% of the way capped here. More and more bodies slowly funneling in here for 79th as RMC looks to try to rebound and gain that cap progress back here. Now, it looks like our medium Sherman is flooding the point here with some smoke rounds to try to confuse RMC and give some cover to his guys as they try to push across that open field. So good, smart play by the tank crews to assist the infantry in this situation. All right, it looks like all cap progress that 79th had made into the area is been pushed out, but bodies are still pushing up into the area. So RMC being very quick to suck bodies back into the point. So hopefully AJ Gray hopefully he's noticing how much they're trying to suck people back into the point to be able to kind of calculate that over the course of the next 58 minutes. Now, Huge Ass able to go ahead and get an AT gun up here. This will be big if he's able to get a support player over here to put something down and get that gun up, because that's going to help them control that western edge. As Matty Petito, Willie P, and Neil Warnock are trying to regain that advantage along that hedgerow that is so vital in trying to get Axis forces up into the farmland area. Now, looks like we do have a bombing run coming in for the Axis forces, and an airhead combination as well. So Axis forces trying to get what they can when it comes in the way of attacking sides, as it does take out that front side garrison on Bucourt Battery here. Commander AJ Gray going to have to keep his eyes on the skies as we look to see that airhead. Has that airhead landed? Yes, it has. So airhead has landed. Let's go ahead and see if we can find it. Looks like it's on the other side here of the trees. Nice and hidden. I do not see... Okay, there's our initial spawn here on that airhead. I do not see any 79th members moving towards the point, so it looks like that airhead may have gone unnoticed here, as AJ Gray is now the only man back here standing wide open here on the backside. Looks like he redeploys or crashes out. That is an inopportune time for him to crash out. Unfortunately, AJ Gray, we feel for you here, as that is going to be a very deciding factor here. Going to need to have to get bodies back quickly, as no commander here for 79th back here on Bucourt Battery now. Only bodies here are Lieutenant Colonel Petito and Hank and M. Brimer. So we are in ourselves a cap race here, but only 3 bodies back for the moment for the Axis forces. So with a little bit of luck, 79th should be able to get some bodies back and remove this. But how many people are RMC going to send off this airhead? That's the question we have to ask, as they are containing the pressure on Dugout. Progress going back in favor of Bucourt Battery for 79th, as this spawn still coming in off this airhead. Unbaked, closest man to it. Will he be able to get it? As we know, it's on the right side of those buildings here on the back side. No more spawns coming in, though, for the Axis forces, so 79th is going to be able to regain control over this. Another spawn here for Luke, but he's only 1 man, so interesting. RMC definitely going to take a look at that when they try to get their bodies back into point, or when they try to review their match footage, because they had a wide open opportunity to try to get as many bodies as they could into the point. But now Luke is the only one back there. Airhead still is live with only maybe 1 or 2 spawns. 79th Snafu coming up, looking to find that. We do have cap progress coming in on the Dugout for 79th. 79th, the only bodies in hard cap here for Dugout, as RMC looking to fight bodies back up into the point. Now, with that airhead situation under control, we do get a massive spawn wave here off of it for the Axis forces, but hopefully they should be able to be eaten up here. So 79th, though, might have been able to get themselves into a position to get some good progress here, as no Garrison currently sits up on the area for RMC. Halfway capped here as the Axis artillery just lands right in the middle, eliminating a few guys. But this will be big for 79th. Holy cow, what a great turn of events here as we were looking. Commander AJ Gray crashing out of the match. But his guys from the 79th getting back up into the point. It's going to be huge for this Tiger tank right here to go ahead and stay alive as we try to get this 76 or this 75 here on the western side. Yep, 75. As cap progress and pressure coming back in on Bucourt Battery. Only a few bodies back there, though. It looks like RMC is all in on trying to get back into the defensive area. They do not want to lose this second point. All right, and with that, it looks like Goofy, the only man available here on Dugout. Can he go ahead and pull out a giant victory here for his side against all odds, as Finzi walks right up and shoots him in the face? Well played, Goofy, though. You were well against, the odds are well stacked against you, though. Cap progress coming back in on Bucourt Battery as more and more bodies from the Axis side funnel on in. Looks like we've got 2 OPs that have made their way back into their lines. But with no major spawn point for the backside forces, it's going to be real difficult for RMC to continue to flood bodies into there. So that little section of events that we had right there has really gone in and done a wonder on both sides of the line here. So we have these guys up here for RMC, but they're on an island. They're surrounded by garrisons here for the 79th. And as soon as they're eliminated, their OPs are gone and wiped. It'll be done. We do see allied supplies landing here. Looks like not going noticed by RMC. Luke being the only person that was looking in that way, probably was looking at his maps, but playing on hard mode as Luke is currently wearing his whites. So with that, not going to help him at all when it comes to trying to hold his squad up into that area as he looks to try to defend that OP. But cap progress still coming in here for RMC as 79th continues to flood bodies towards Dugout. Now, if I was 79th, definitely not something we want to be trying to hurry our bodies back to. Just get a couple guys back, maybe for a life or two, to clear out these guys here, because you can see your garrisons Garden's not gone. You did lose your garrison over here on the western side. So you'll look to get that back up with these supplies that are dropping. Nope, those are Axis supplies. It's one of the hard things here. While they did give us the ability to see both sides, unfortunately, we don't know a lot of times what it is, what side it's coming in. So it'll be interesting to see how they change that here in a little bit. But I do like the direction we're headed with being able to see both sides and the garrisons and OPs associated with it. Empire and Luke, only men in the hard cap here for RMC, as Jackoff and Luke appear to be on a collision course here. Jackoff coming around the corner. Does not look down the trench though, but he does take Pepper out, who spawns on an OP that is taken out here by Jackoff. So good work from Jackoff to go ahead and get back there, clear out that OP, leaving fewer OPs here for RMC and their forces to go ahead and spawn back in. Looks like Luke was able to move his OP up into the hard cap sector. But with it, yeah, still up. It's in the trench though. But we're getting more and more bodies coming in from the backside for 79th as Dr. Pepe PhD moving up the way as well. Garrison has been reestablished here for 79th, so that's going to help them on that front door. We do have all of the 79th, though, taken out from this western side. So RMC has been able to gain this, but is relatively open at the moment. We just need that garrison to get put back down here for the Allied side, and they should be able to try to get more and more bodies back in that direction. Now, garrison here for the Axis side is going to be a major launching off point. If I was the commander of the Axis side, I'd be telling my guys to work off this garrison and try to establish footholds here on this western side. Because if they're able to get into this sector right here, that's going to provide them with probably the fastest avenue of approach here, as this entire section right here is eaten up by 79th. Like, you're not going to go that way. But utilizing this open space here as they're forced to come off this front side garrison would be big for RMC. So let's watch and see if that continues to battle out that way, as this 75 has been forced to go all the way back in here. Abosity, we're going to go with the Abosity. Trying to take on Hank with the pistol, though. Able to get back in his tank, though, before he gets eliminated. So good work on him to stay alive. But here we go. We're starting to see those RMC players pushing in from this western side. So that would be big for them to continue forcing their way up into that point, as we do start to see Allied artillery, I believe, starting to land on this side. Okay, so we do have an Allied bombing run that looks like it's going to come through here for Commander AJ Gray and take out that garrison here for the Axis side. So he does unfortunately take out a few of his guys, though, in the process, with the Tiger tank here guarding this back side. But we have no RMC guys in the hard cap here. Only hard cap controls from 79. So 79 starting to make progress. Now, a push like this is something that's sustainable rather than the RMC push that we were seeing a minute ago. So this will be a little more exciting as Kit Carson's able to get up and take out that OP here, eliminating all spawns here in the actual hard cap sector. So it's going to force the RMC guys to come off of garrisons on the back side, either on that western side or up on the side up here by these fields. However, that's going to be difficult for them to get down. So hopefully 79's going to be able to focus some fire that way, as they are nearing 1/3 of the way capped here on Dugout. Now 1 Lux and 1 Tiger tank here on the backside for RMC, as Commander Rhubarb looks to try to get his guys back up into the fight here. But right now, 79th able to get the guys in the advantage pushed in. If they can continue to push bodies up into the point, they can make this very exciting, as this Lux, knowing the desperation play that's going on here, Goofy hopefully sees him. Goofy has the Grand. Does he have any rockets, though, with him? Kit Carson, no, getting shots out. Goofy might currently have the AT class where he can build the guns, but we have a corresponding bombing run coming in for RMC as they try to get bodies back up into the point. It's not going to do much, though. Doesn't take out very many, maybe 1 or 2 guys here, as Jackoff is the only guy into the hard cap here. And Guillotine looking to get a flare up here to let his guys know where all of the bad guys are. This 75, though, from RMC, trying to hold that western side, might have been able to play some sort of advantage to help the infantry up to push on over. They are definitely controlling their sector, but it may have been advantageous to have them push down into the middle. But that very well, they're doing well holding their line as they are not letting anybody from the Axis side go down that wall any farther. So their job is being done as Big L is on the back side with his OP here. Nope, sorry, correction. A squad's OP back there. Kit Carson, though, knowing that he's gotten hits on this tank, looking to get up and try to take out the Lux. Unfortunately, hitting front armor of the Lux. Not going to do too much with the bazooka there. Kit Carson's going to need to get back, but unfortunately, he will not be able to do it this life as he is eliminated by Hank. Now, this 75 needs to get an angle on this Lux. That's going to be the biggest thing. If he could turn around, he probably would have an angle on it to be able to take it out. But he is currently retreating back, trying to clear out more spawns here as RMC has gotten a foothold in this backside. So he's going back with his tank crew to try to clear out all of these guys on the backside. Now let's see. Do we have our 76 coming back in for the 79th? No, it looks like the only heavy tank still being that 75 here for the 79th. Right now, we currently have one Tiger tank going on the backside of Dugout. And that is the only other tank in the area, with the exception of this Lux here for the Axis side. Medium Sherman coming up through the area of 5 points as they're going to look to go ahead and try to get themselves established here into the 5 points to try to get another push. Now, that push didn't quite work for you there, 79th, but these competition matches are all a matter of give and take. You're not usually going to win with a knockout blow the first or second time you try to have gotten cap pressure. Gotten cap pressure on there a couple times already. And with that, you guys are getting there. You're getting bodies there. So these hour-and-a-half matches are definitely long, but there's still plenty of time here as we are rounding the 45-minute mark to get people back up into the point and get more and more pushes into that section. So 30 seconds until we go live again with this new cast. As we look like we have heard an explosion here, and it looks like that 76 might have finally... Nope. Just a little Stewie. Little Stewie's finally eating the dust as more and more RMC guys are trying to get in the backside here. 75 being very brave, going through these wheat fields, trying to clear it out. Looks like getting close to the OP, but unfortunately turns just a little too soon and will not clear it out. So RMC is still having that OP there that they'll be able to flood bodies in off of. As it looks like we start to see Axis supplies falling into the backside, being secured by F Squad's OP. Major Rat, a fitting name for the person in the back line there. Now, 79th has been able to reestablish this push here on the western side, gotten a new Garrison up, so very good for them. Garrison up on the western fields here, or the eastern fields of AA Network. Pushing more and more bodies up into the point here. So you're starting to lose cap progress on Bucourt, but at this time, not something you need to majorly worry about. Still got plenty of bodies there. You know where they're coming from based off of where your garrisons are getting taken out from. 75 going back to be repaired and getting more and more ammo to come back up into that fight. Fortunately, not like you could do before the update of just dive the tanks. Now it's more and more needed that you go back and rearm, repair and everything like that. But more and more cap progress coming in for RMC on that backside. As just as we say that is canceled out. Okay, looks like everything is going well. All right. Now, 2 heavy tanks coming in for the Axis side on this backside. We do look like we're now rolling out 2 heavy tanks, so we could be setting ourselves up for another double heavy tank battle here, most likely going to be on this western side, as I'd imagine that's where those are going to push down into. But with that, we are back here. So as we round this 40-minute mark, we still see more and more cap progress coming in on the backside on Bucourt Battery for RMC. Let's take a look and see how they've been doing here on getting themselves back into this fight. So still have a couple OPs, but all garrisons on the front side here for 79th still up, not warm yet. So you know that the battle is coming from behind. Commander Rhubarb from the Axis side looks like he has been able to get around with a supply truck and get that up. So be interested to see how much they have the ability to spawn in as we see an Axis airhead coming in here right on Bucourt Battery. Now, let's see if they're going to be a little more aggressive after this, as these battles right here are going to be pivotal here, as Fusion is taken out by Lieutenant Colonel Dean. Lewis Animal, though, knowing that he's there, is going to try to sneak on up. Make sure Dean doesn't see him, but Lewis Animal perched himself up right on the outline of where that airhead is going to be coming down. So no spawns are going to get in off this RMC airhead, and 79th's defense able to react very quickly as they work to try to clear out the back lines, as that airhead is going to be eliminated no sooner than it got up. So no bombing run accompanying that one. That would have been the only thing that could have saved it, as Animal's able to get that taken care of. But with these few OPs that are back here on the backside, it leaves these 2 heavy tanks kind of stuck right in their spawns, and they're not able to get bodies up, as this 75 is not crewed at the moment. Chucklenut's gonna need to try to get back in, as he is the only man on that squad, as Hank is gonna get moved up here, most likely gonna get another satchel on a tank. Is he gonna get another one? He takes out Hank. So Hank, unfortunately, going to be eliminated, as the 76 still continues to cover this 75, as Lieutenant Colonel Dean is the only man back here for RMC, but OPs are still up here for the Axis side. They will get bodies back in here, no problem. These tanks are still very much in danger and will need to try to get themselves back up into the point. 79th, though, getting pressure back up into Dugout. So we have been back and forth, but unfortunately, Chucklenuts finally has been taken out. Some big shots, though, as we continue to see more and more tank rounds coming in from the area of Dugout, as Hank, coming back up, is not going to have anybody to give him any problems as he moves up on this 75. So Commander AJ Gray gonna need to work with his tank squads to go ahead and try to get this cleared out. Gonna need to get some defensive infantry back, as Hank was able to get back there. Ash getting one shot into the backside. Looks like they're just going to let this 76 try to survive here. He's gonna need to clear the area, as that satchel could do a little bit of damage to him too. Unfortunately, it won't kill him, but it will do a little bit of damage, as all pressure moving on to the Dugout here for 79th is going to be slowly pushed back, as that 75 now goes up in smoke. So let's turn our focus back on over here to see what the push is like coming on Dugout. So the majority of the pushes for 79th have come straight up the door and from the area. So they are definitely utilizing the strategy of holding this area and pushing up through front door off of Gardens to get up into there. They're trying to do what they can to hold this sector right here, but man, is that a bloodbath over there, as we see another bombing run coming in for the 79th to clear out that backside, which is going to get a couple guys. I don't know if it will clear out a Garrison. I do not know if RMC was able to get another Garrison up there. Based off of spacing, it very well could have been. So as of right now, no Garrison currently sitting on Dugout, but more and more bodies here for RMC back here due to their recent push and having to re-get back and defend. So to get us kind of a quick summary of what we've been having up to this point, RMC, after about 10 minutes on an initial cap, was able to win out and get that initial cap here over Dugout. leaving 79th kind of trying to force their way back into the point. Since that point, 79th has had multiple good opportunities to get up here into Dugout, but RMC really collapses very quickly back onto the point, which is giving 79th some major fits in trying to get back up into this point. So for 79th, we see a lot of their pressure coming in from the front door, as well as their major outside 5 points push here. So coming up the hill, coming up front door. And I apologize. I'm trying to get over a cold right now. And my voice is starting to give out here. So you'll probably be hearing me stepping away and having to take some sips of water a little bit more often here. So I apologize for that. But this Tiger tank really going to be pushing up and holding this western side. So the 76 back here still trying to fight off F squad and not able to get back up into the fight quite yet. So RMC playing very, very ratty sabotage strategies back there, but being very, very effective at keeping those tanks for the 79th on the back line and not allowing them to come forward, which has allowed their allies to push on back up and really claim this entire western side. So with the Tiger tank here, if they can get up and remove this Garrison here for the allies, it's going to open up that window completely for pushing a Bucourt battery for RMC here. Matty Petito, though, was the only person that could have gotten that Garrison up, though, was eliminated. So that's going to be a big blow here, as no other officer currently sits out here for the RMC side. Now, we're going to start seeing some progress coming in back here on Bucourt Battery for RMC, as they will be funneling off F Squad. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if those supplies on the back line are for RMC or if they're for 79th. As we see the Stewart taking a shot here from M. Breyer. I apologize. I was not able to put that all together real fast here. But it looks like they are supplies here for RMC. Oh, nope. There we go. It finally rendered in. All right, we're good. They are allied supplies here for the 79th. As F Squad's OP and E Squad's OP are the only thing pushing in or allowing push-ins for RMC on this backside now. So from the point, RMC and 79th both having good opportunities to push up into their respective points, both getting cap pressure, but here we still sit at a 2-3 with the advantage going to RMC. Oh, precision strike coming in, though, for the Allies. Does not take out the tank, but it looks like it took out the Garrison, as we no longer see any Axis supplies here on the ground. So while it did not hit the Tiger, it got rid of something there. So good work on 79th to at least do something there to help push people back off of that western map edge, as that Tiger tank is now forced to retreat just a little bit. Now, two squads still forcing bodies up into Bucourt Battery. So with the two OPs there, they can get as many as 12 bodies up into this point. So RMC looks like they're utilizing that strategy to flood as many guys up here. We currently have 5 RMC bodies here on the Axis, or on the Allied strongpoint, as it continues to tick in favor of RMC. Now, unfortunately, like the other pushes, 79th does not have a major push going in. They do have a small push coming in on the backside, but no cap pressure coming in yet for them on the Dugout. So we're going to focus on here, as this is our major point of attack at the moment. Rockets coming in for both sides. Super Truck able to get a rocket onto that far side, eliminating a member of the RMC's clan. But no sooner did he fire that rocket, but he was taken out. Cap progress coming back in favor, though, of 79th, as we just continue to have this tug-of-war battle between these two Division 7 rivals. Seems like these teams have quite a history, though. RMC, from my initial interviews with Commander AJ Gray, it looks like RMC does end up getting the edge on 79th every once in a while. So 79th definitely looking to come out and get some additional revenge here and try to get the big win here on TPL as Blood Reaper and Snafu are able to get up there and finally eliminate all OPs from the Axis forces back here on Bucourt Battery. So that is going to be big as they try to turn their focus back in the direction of Dugout, and as they have two heavy tanks, both a 75, or no, it looks like they have a medium Sherman and their 76 trying to get back up into the point. And that Tiger tank appears to have finally been eliminated on the backside. We missed that, so I apologize. We did miss that here as now 79th is starting to get cap progress on Dugout. So this is big for them, as we were talking earlier. They needed to get bodies down here into this farmhouse area as well as that front door. So currently where it sits, if we go up into the Falcon Cam, they have bodies coming in on the western side. They have them coming in the front door. So a very promising push here for the 79th, as the only garrisons available here for RMC are going to be right on the backside as we do get a large garrison spawn. West side, as that very well could be taken out here soon though. But 79th, very good pressure coming up in. Need to direct their arty a little bit as we see it start to come in. They're going to need to try to get more and more bodies back into that backside though. And that hopefully that arty gets a little bit moved, as Goofy, Jackoff, Kit Carson, Executioner, and Protein Bar all moving in here on the point. Huge Ass was taken out by Pepper. Tubes getting Goofy. Jackoff, though, looking to get revenge. Unfortunately, he was eliminated. But this garrison here for the for RMC still coming in, though. Friendly Arty coming in for the Allies, helping out with those pushes, but very close to Allies. It'd be interesting to see if they back that Arty up at all. As it appears that cap progress has stalled out a little bit here, but no doubt very close to teetering here for the 79th. So we're going to keep ourselves here as I have to step away for just one moment. All right, with that, we are back. Okay, so 1 OP currently sitting for the 79th, 8 squads OP, with Huge Ass still able to hold down his side of the trenches here. Corporal Hank, though, getting shots, but Huge Ass able to get the final shots with the Thompson. Thompson's speed coming back in huge for him as Huge Ass is trying to stick that huge end that he has right in that bush to try to stay safe as long as he possibly can. Milkshake, though, taken out by Sammy on that backside there. And Jackoff no longer there as well. But it looks like we did have the little Stewart here for the 79th eliminated. But currently no armor right in the area of the soft cap, with the exception of, it looks like a Lux on the backside. And we have one Tiger coming up from the back as well on the western map edge. So 79th, now that they've gotten people flooded out and taken care of in Bucourt Battery, they need to get those tanks up to the front line and work and count on their division, their infantry here to try to get back and help out with eliminating the rest of those infantrymen, as their tanks are still caught behind this back line, not knowing where this garrison is on the backside just north of Cattle Sheds here for RMC. But that is going to be their only main attacking point here for RMC to get back into the point here on 79th. But 79th having the better push as Wonton sees those supplies come down. So Wonton going to be able to get an angle on him. Wonton eliminating the one RMC guy, but 3 cherries face him as he looks to try to get up to those supplies. Wonton unfortunately gets headshotted, not able to go ahead and get those supplies there, but they do know that is there as Kit Carson and Big L see that garrison in the backside. Arty for the Allied side has been able to land and move appropriately, and it looks like Garrison on the backside for RMC has been taken out. So closest Garrison's now 5 points here for RMC, and on the western map edge. Garrison put back up here by Sergeant Better James, though, from that supplies there, but 2 AT players right here. Kit Carson pulling out his bazooka, looking to try to get an angle on this garrison here as we start to see an Axis? Yes? No? Allied? No? Not sure. But we're going to keep it here as these two going right up. Kit Carson able to get the angle on him. Corporal Hank hearing the shots, though. Do not know exactly where he is as Kit Carson moves up to get the Garrison. Kit Carson seeing the Garrison, moving with caution. Is he going to be able to get it? Kit Carson on top of the Garrison is going to get it. Nobody locked in on the spawn as they did not come in. So another big play for the 79th as they look to continue to flood bodies up into the point here. Closest OP, H squad still there. L squad OP still in hard cap. So right now, 79th has more spawns in the hard cap area than RMC does. So this is a big push here for RMC or for 79th if they can continue to flood bodies up into this point. Hopefully the call out going to L and H squads to fill those buggers as much as they can. Try to get all 12 people into the hard cap as we are now getting a very big mix of blueberries here. Goofy taking out 2 though. Is he going to be able to take out Weary? Nope. Currently having an MG watching that southern side as Wonton able to get around here and get the backside there. Able to clear it up for Goofy to continue watching that map edge. Garrison back up here for RMC. Let's go ahead and see where they put it. So it looks like they put it just a little bit farther south. Nope, same spot. They put it in the exact same spot. So that will go in favor of 79th here as that Garrison still is going up right in the same spot as the previous ones. Hopefully Artie still trained on that location as we get more cap progress coming back in for the 79th. So 79th, this is how you win Dugout back. Just the constant pressure of bodies back into the point. You are slowly eliminating all of their Garrisons. Garrisons from 5 points is gone. That is no longer there for RMC. You have full control over front door. So if they can go ahead and get back here, I currently am locked. There we go. We're good to go. So Big L, Sammy, spawning off of an OP, but Big L able to get Sammy off. Corporal Hank and Sergeant Better James. Looks like we do have a recon plane coming up over here for the Allied side as Big L is unfortunately handed a Big L. But Goofy still alive here on the backside. Who's going to win that? Is it going to be Goofy or is it going to be Alan? Oh, and Alan, Goofy gets him with a shovel. We'll go ahead and get right up here and give you your moment of fame with the melee kill, Goofy. Very well done. Doing big stuff on that western side to keep those Axis forces at bay and allow your guys to continue to get back in. Looks like Axis already falling in on the trenches. Nobody there for it to eliminate, though, as Wonton and Kit Carson are back up in the fight. Man, this match is not going to let me have a voice later today, as I am slowly losing it. Wonton taking out Poppy. Kit Carson and Wonton teaming up to take out the RMC guy. Sammy, the only guy back here as we get a Garrison spawn. That's the only reason why Cap Favor has been stalled out for 79th. But man, oh man, RMC is on the back heel right now. 79th taking full advantage of this, starting to get one tank moved up from the medium Sherman here to hold that western edge. They do have that Tiger tank here for RMC on that side as well. So look to have him get moved up as this Garrison here for 79th is just being just a thorn in the side of the 79th as they keep taking it out, but it somehow keeps getting put right back up as Sergeant Better James is doing the best that he can to get that Garrison back up at all times. Big L, big wave coming off of this Garrison. Blood Reaper able to get out Allen. Poppy able to see Blood Reaper, but Lord Nutmeg able to have the final blow on M. Brimer. Poppy eliminated, headshotted by Kit Carson. 79 still getting cap progress into Dugout. If they can continue to hold this push, this will be big for them. They need to get this 76 moved up into the fight here to try to hold this pressure. Garrison's still up here for RMC as we are having to focus so much on the hard cap sector here because this is where the fun battles are going on. Panzer IV coming up though. RMC trying to do what they can to try to hold advantage here and continue to push pressure on the Dugout as more and more bodies are coming up into the point here for 79th. Now, it looks like 79th did lose their medium Sherman here, though, that is on this western side. Let's take a look and see what we're working with. So another medium Sherman here on the side as well. This Tiger tank not Tiger Tank, sorry. 76 on that backside, still hanging out in the area of Bucourt Battery. Needs to start pushing their way up the line as that airhead has been eliminated by the Panzer IV that saw that drop down, unfortunately, from the area of God Hill. So slowly, 79th is getting bodied out of this point, but we are getting to the point where they might get another bombing run here relatively soon here. Probably just a few minutes waiting on that bombing run here. And if they can get that bombing run and get their bodies back up into that point, even though they didn't quite cap it yet, they set themselves up in a very good position to get something going on the next one. So 20 minutes, some still very good pushes here from 79th as they control all of 5 points. As they control all of 5 points, and RMC is very well pushed back into the hard cap sector. So let him eat. Let's go ahead and give a good call out here to the Allied artilleryman. Go ahead, just give them a little bit of screen time, as these guys don't normally get the options. Don't get a lot of screen time, but Stankin's back here on the big arty gun, firing those shells in, doing what he can to help out his 79th brethren as they try to push into the dugout area. Snafu back here looking for spawns, as more and more spawns for RMC have been eliminated. But right now, RMC getting full control back over the hard cap sector. But RMC being very, very boxed in at the moment, as RMC looks to have sent an airhead up over the point again. Let's see if Super Truck's going to see where that's little airhead. It's going to land right in the area of him here. Looks like back here on the side. Looks like the first spot where that first airhead landed. Yep, right here. So we'll keep an eye on that. But RMC having no additional back there. Aside from that one squad. Fusion, though, AJ Gray, both on top of it to know that that's coming in. So that airhead will not last long. So the little gasp of air that RMC is trying to throw out there to try to put pressure on Bucourt is not going to give them any additional advantage. So right now, bombing run sounds like coming in for RMC. Let's go ahead and see if he's going to be able to take out Fusion or AJ Gray. Looks like he might just split the uprights, and unfortunately only going to get nobody on that. So a very ineffective bombing run here for RMC, as that airhead is now eliminated. It did take out the Garrison, but RMC not going to be able to get more and more bodies back, as one Garrison has been put up in the backside by F Squad. So we'll keep an eye on that, as we are teetering on the edge here, as, oh no, the 76 crew has gotten out. Oh no. Oh no. 76 crew has been eliminated, and tank is currently satcheled. That's going to be a big blow. They're going to need to get that tank back up to the front line as soon as possible, as it looks like one tank has spawned in here for 79th on the backside. But unfortunately, RMC has guys back there and might cause some problems trying to get them back up into the fight. Not quite able to spawn another heavy tank here for 79th yet. Going to be about 2 minutes before that can happen. 2-3 minutes before that can happen, as bodies flood into Bucourt Battery for RMC from that backside Garrison. Nobody close enough. Fusion was the only guy back here that could have locked that out. Nearing about 40% of the way capped here on Bucourt Battery. Hopefully 79th does not suck too many guys back here, as we can see the Garrison on the backside, on the western side for 79th is going to most likely get eliminated, as it is currently being surrounded by RMC guys. Ash Empire. RMC guys owning the mid-cap sector here is Commander AJ Gray, pushing on up, trying to do what he can to salvage whatever he can. There are only 3 guys there, so any bodies that get back here into the hard cap are going to be very pivotal, but they need to get in there very quickly if 79th has any hope of trying to get this cap salvaged back here, as it is now 2-on-2 here. AJ Gray and Snafu getting in. Okay, Cap Progress gonna flood back in the direction of 79th now. As one spawn comes off of that backside Garrison. As Allen able to get in, but now 79th able to get enough bodies back here. Let's take a look and see how their push is going. They've been able to get more and more bodies back into the hard cap. And Garrison still up for RMC on the backside. Appreciate you guys joining as we hit 15 minutes left in this up and down match from both sides. It's honestly been a very good match. Very excited that you guys can join us. Very honored, fortunately, here on the Falcon Cast to go ahead and get this broadcast for you guys. Even with all the technical difficulties, we appreciate you guys sticking around so that we are able to enjoy in on the fun that this match has brought us so far. Give us just a quick rundown. After about a 10-minute cap race for the initial cap, it did fall in the way of RMC, and they have held it since that point. But it has not been safe for either side, as both sides have gotten at least halfway capped on each team's respective defensive point. 79th, though, setting themselves up here good to move pressure into the last 15 minutes here. So let's pop into our Falcon Cam here. Garrison on the western side, though, still up here for 79th. That's going to be a big major factor as they own all of this western side. Very good job on 79th to hold through that push. We do have one tank up here on this side. Let's take a look at the strength of that tank. It looks like a Tiger tank. So they have a Tiger tank map edge here, watching this Garrison. This will be a pivotal battle.
In standard Halloween fashion, I kidnapped your stream. But a few moments later, we go back to the action.
It looks like that precision strike came in, did not hit Garrison, but did it get some type of vehicle back here on the backside? It did not. As we see more and more, we see that Tiger tank was able to go ahead and get their way out of there before that strike came in. Okay, nearing 7 minutes left in this match here for both sides. Viewcourt battery still going in favor of RMC here. RMC nearing 90% of the way capped here, as it is now contested here for the Axis side. So RMC all in here as 79th just try to flood people back here. As Wonton has been eliminated. Kit Carson able to get back, continue to help with Griff and help his guys get back up into the point. 79th, though, still has plenty of guys on the backside. Garrison has been removed from Dugout, so this battle is not over yet with 6 minutes left in this match. This really could go any way, as 79th has been able to stop people from RMC coming back into the hard cap here. And man, technology has not been our friend today. Server crashes, OBS crashes. We're dealing with all of the crashes today. But we appreciate you guys sticking through with everything that we've tried to get through today. As a reminder, this match will be uploaded in its entirety here once I'm able to get in and splice all of the parts together. All right, cap progress, though, coming in for the 79th as they have a giant push here onto their hard cap. Nearing close to a bombing strike ability here for Commander AJ Gray. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how this all kind of goes out as 79th pushes bodies up into the point. We do have a Garrison here for RMC. It is somewhere hidden around these bushes. Right there in the middle of hard cap here as smoke comes in. Carson moving up on the Garrison, though. This will be huge if Carson can get up and get this Garrison. Carson pulling it out here. Gets the Garrison. As bombing run coming in for RMC is going to be rather ineffective. Taking out... Okay, never mind. Scratch that. Did take out a good number of people, though. As RMC tries to get bodies flooded back up into this point. Now would be a huge bombing run opportunity if it was available for the Allied side, 79th. If they could get it going and just take out that entire road, it will clear out the entire way for their crew to go ahead and get back up into that fight. Don't know if it's available, but it looks like we have a recon plane coming in here. Very close here for both sides as we near the final 4 minutes, 27 seconds, 2 minutes, 27 seconds for 79th to get in here and try to get cap progress. Big flare coming up here for the Allied side, letting 79th know where all of the guys are as more and more bodies comes up into the point. Reinforces down for RMC as they know they are no longer in the hard cap sector. But if 79th is able to keep people out of the hard cap sector, that reinforce will not do anything for RMC. With 3 minutes, 59 seconds left in this match, 79th pushing into the hard cap. Boys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have ourselves a cap race here on the very end, the equivalent of a last 2-minute drill here for those of you that play football. Fourth quarter press here in under 2 minutes. Supplies coming down here for RMC as 79th losing bodies in the point, but pushing more and more bodies up into the area, getting help from their medium Sherman, pushing up, trying to hold this. Closest tank here for RMC is going to be on the western side of hard cap and coming up from the south side of God's Hill. 79th giving it all they've got. If they have a bombing run, this is the time. This is the time. They're getting really close. Hopefully they will get that before the end here. As we have a battle, the battle of the decade here in this TPL match. One Tiger tank trying to push up into the hard cap here. Commander Rhubarb following along with his men. Blood Reaper as well. The blood and carnage forced onto both these teams here on this southern side. This final cap progress, 43 seconds here. We've got a little bit of leeway here for 79th as they have cap progress still coming that way. But bombing run now coming in for the 79th. How many will it get? Garrison sitting just on the outside as progress coming back in for 79th as they force bodies into the eastern side of that hard cap. They own hard cap now, western side. Bombing runs, Garrison spun, able to get the freedom here to help them out. But no doubt the guys from the 79th seeing that spawn come in, bombing run coming in as well, it will get this Garrison. So this Garrison here for RMC is going to be gone. Still some bodies here and a Tiger tank, but 79th able to continue flooding bodies up here into the point. L and I squad OP's huge at this moment. All hands on deck as 79th still pushing bodies forward. They cannot afford to lose any progress towards this point right now. 79th needing to keep all of their bodies here. We are in a full all hands on deck battle into Dugout here. As we're just going to go ahead and zoom out and just enjoy this from the macro level. 79th has the large advantage here over midcap as they flood and control it pretty much in its entirety. We have lost that Tiger tank here for the Axis forces, leaving one left here. One tank for each squad here in the middle as RMC continues to flood bodies. Artie is going to need to come in huge here and just keep flooding bodies on that western side, which it does. Stankins coming in big for his men here on the 79th as no bodies from the 79th currently sit outside of 200 meters of hard cap. Progress going back in favor of 79th. 79th looking to be able to pull up the upset here and get the win over RMC here 40 seconds left, ladies and gentlemen. This game is not over yet. But 79th looks like they are going to be able to get this pressure pulled over. Oh boy, what a match here. 79th closing seconds of the cap here. Pushing in, nearing 95% of the way cap. Progress still going in. All hands on deck here for RMC. Can they get it? 79th, yes, with the cap. 79th with the cap. Going in favor, closing it out in the final seconds here. 79th coming in, getting the fight and the win. Holy cow, ladies and gentlemen. This will be the highlight of the weekend. Goodness sakes. Whoo! What a match for our friends at the 79th and for our friends here at RMC. What a banger of a match for everyone. Goodness sakes. What a wonderful match. I'm flabbergasted. This is a wonderful match. That ending, 79th did not give up. They fought back through every push that RMC gave them on their Bucourt battery back point. Got really close to losing it, but were able to get enough bodies back to help finalize that cap for them. I'm going to lose my voice. I'm not going to have a voice for my match later today. Forget that. It's a good thing I'm not commanding that match, because I would not be able to chat. But, oh, what a match. What a match, ladies and gentlemen. Big Division 7 matchup here. Oh, I got to give it a break here for a second. We'll pull up stats here in just a second. But man, what a match here for the 79th and RMC. Great match. RMC holding that point up until the final 10 seconds of that match. Major hats off to RMC though. They kept pushing. They kept pushing and holding that point. But man, just able to get a few more bodies over there on the backside there for 79th here. And that progress, that cap goes to that win goes to the 79th. What a great match though between these two. Honestly, couldn't have asked for a better opportunity as we look to go ahead and get these guys up. Now, match is over. We're going to go ahead and transition here to our desktop side. And we will look to add real fast our audio sources here on the backside. All right. So while we wait for this here, I'm going to go ahead and let it add here. All right, let's go ahead and get our stuff pulled up here. All right, so here we go. Let's get our Steam Deck pulled up here. Lots of stuff here. You know what? Let's just do it the old-fashioned way. Get right back up over here to the matchup. Get that cast back over as our digital version is not working the way it's supposed to. All right. This will give us a little bit of background music there, so you guys don't just have to listen to me. But pulling up stats here. So the winner of our match goes to Mr. Stankins, 177 kills. 177 in a 35s match? Are you kidding me? What a great play here from the Allied artillery side. That Stankins. If I hadn't given my commendation to AJ Gray, be right over to you, buddy. But man, what a match. You came in clutch for your team here in trying to keep that all up and going there. So very well done. So top 6 people here for 79th. Just very well done. Corporal Liam here for the Axis side. Everybody was very spread out for the 79th. I don't give him any issues there. Still a great match with 60 kills. So let's go ahead and let's look at the infantry. So infantry kills 975 to 836, going in favor of the allies. Machine gun kills, we did see a little bit there from the allied side as we worked with, let's see, where are we? Goofy. Goofy was the one that had that. So Goofy with the MGs, getting a few kills there to help his guys out. Badge going in the direction of, going in the direction of 79th. So big major advantage there for 79th there. Armor also advantage to 79th. Great armor battles throughout the course of this match. Really, honestly, very good back and forth. So it is very good to see 79th coming out on top, even though they were on the back foot for a lot of the match. They were down the 2-3. They didn't give up. They kept pushing, and that's showing through the stats. So bazooka kills going in favor of RMC. Mine kills also going in favor of RMC. But if we come down here, look at the kill differential by rank. So what this chart does is it takes basically, it lines up every member of each team. So the number one player on the ally team and the number one player on the Axis team go up against each other. And the advantage we know is going to go to Stankins there on that side. The same thing happening all the way down the line, and it doesn't get until about 16, even until down here on rank 27, where we see the first actual point where the Axis forces have gotten a leg up on the allies. So that means for 27 people it is either even or going in favor of the allied side. And so that's the reason why you're going to be winning matches. So hats off here to the 79th here as they look to get that victory, going now 2-2 here in TPL. Very, very interested to see how the rest of those matches are going to go here for our friends on both sides. But with that, we're going to go ahead and come back into our gameplay here as we will just leave this here as a sign off for you guys. We appreciate you sticking in through us through the technical difficulties on the Falcon Cast today. I will be putting this back together. If I can get some likes, if I can get some subscribes on there, I'd very much appreciate it. The digital world is wonderful that allows us to do this, but unfortunately, it does come with its glitches as well. But we appreciate you guys all joining in here for the Falcon Cast today. I was your host, Night Falcon. Looking forward to being able to meet up with you guys the next time. Until then, have yourself a wonderful time. Enjoy your time out on the battlefield, guys.